Hello, everyone. I hope that you are having an amazing day today. I hope that you are well. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like this video. Please share with your family and friends. And also please subscribe to my channel. So I am back with another video. We're just gonna have an open conversation. This is an important topic that I believe should be discussed from the experiences that I've had here lately and on my travel assignments. So some of you know me as an author with the book Living After Divorce. Some of you know me as a speaker, some of you know me as a teacher, but I'm also a registered nurse. And so some of you have followed me on Facebook and you see my travels during COVID to New York, to California, to Texas, and you kind of saw how bad it was in the hospitals from my videos, from my posts on Facebook. And really, I've seen enough death to last me a lifetime. But here lately, I've taken a break from traveling and I'm doing hospice nursing. So it's a little different, and I wanted to try something different in nursing. And that's the beauty of nursing, because you can do informatics, you can work in the hospital, you can work in a clinic, you can do hospice nursing, which is what I'm doing now. And it's so very interesting. But like I said, I've seen enough death to last me a lifetime. But what I have come to find in my travel assignments and, even with me doing hospice, there is one question. And it's, why don't we have life insurance? I have seen so many families struggle with how do they bury their loved one because there was no life insurance. There was nothing available to take care of their funeral and to take care of their bills that they had lingering after their death. If there is one thing that I believe COVID should have taught us, not only should we believe in God and be saved, but also that life is so fragile and you could be here one day and gone the next. I've had people, of course, tell me that when their family member or their friend went to the hospital with COVID, that was the last time that they saw them. So COVID really taught us that life is short, that we should do everything that we can naturally do to plan, and also that we should love on each other. Like, we just don't know when it's our last day. So to love on your family and friends and to just know that life is short. And so whatever it is that God has purposed you to do, that you really need to get to it. Because we don't know what else will come through. There was an issue with monkeypox, and we just have so many things going on in the world right now with wars overseas. And even with our economy, we just are so unsure, but we can rest in knowing that God is in control of it all. But one thing for sure that I saw that there was a lack of was just planning for death. Basically, we do everything in the natural now to live, and we live good lives. We work hard, but we're not planning for death, and we don't have life insurance set up. And so I've just been wondering, and I'm putting this question out here for you, the people that are watching. Put it in the comments. Why don't you think, as a general population, that we don't care enough to get life insurance for our families. So before we talk about that though, and why I think it's important, and what I have seen, of course, in the past couple of years, because I went to New York when COVID first started. Of course, before that, I was in the hospitals, just working in the hospitals, and then I started traveling. But I noticed, of course, when we started COVID, that there was just a lack of life insurance, because families would talk about that. When you're at the end of life, people talk about what they don't have, what they wish their life would be like, because they know that their life is coming to an end. So people share all types of vulnerable things with us as nurses, and at that time there was nobody in the room. Like, I literally had to FaceTime families, and families had to watch their family member die and leave this earth, or I had to make a lot of phone calls to let them know that their family member died. So I'm going to give you some Bible, but this is our question for today. Why don't we, and I'll give my experience with life insurance, why don't we have life insurance? So before we go with that, let's just deal with death. Let's just talk about it, because we don't talk about it as a generation, as a culture. Of course, there are people in generational periods that really don't talk about death, and they just don't want to talk about it. If you bring it up, it's like, oh no, don't talk about it. So, but I think it's prudent for us and wise for us as adults to prepare, and not only to prepare, but to talk about it, and to let the people know that are involved, let them know what you desire, and to really talk about it. But the question before we talk about life insurance, people say all the time, well, if I die. That's not even the question. The question is when. And none of us know when that time is going to be. Only God knows when that's going to be. So before we even talk about life insurance, let's bring Bible in here. Let's talk about being saved, because we don't know the time or the hour. Literally, you could be watching this video, and my time on here on earth could be gone tomorrow. I could be done tomorrow and gone to heaven to be with the Lord. And that's the reality. So in Romans 10, verse 9, it says, if you openly declare that Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. Let me read that again. This is Romans 10, verse 9. This is the New Living Translation. It says, if you openly believe that Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. Verse 10 says, for it is by believing in your heart that you are made right with God, and it is by openly declaring your faith that you are saved. And really, y'all, it don't seem like it's that simple, but it really is. Salvation is for everyone. That's what the topic says on the Bible app. The heading, Romans 10, verse 9 and 10. Salvation is for everyone. Salvation is available for you, for me, for your family. It's available for everyone. So, if you are not saved, if you believe in your heart and you confess with your mouth openly that Jesus is Lord, and he died on the cross and rose again, you will be saved. And so before we even, like I said, get into life insurance, let's just deal with salvation. Are you saved? Now, relationship is a further step. And of course, we all want to, Jesus followers to live right and develop our relationship with Christ. And that really is a lifelong process. We have never arrived with our relationship with Christ. We continue to get wiser in the word every day, to get stronger in the word every day. And you do have to put the work in, praying, reading your Bible, and spending time with God to develop the relationship, just like you would develop a physical relationship here on earth with your friends and your family or a significant other. You have to put the same amount of work in with God. But as far as salvation is if you believe and you confess. So once we tackle salvation, now let's talk about planning. And one way that we leave generational wealth, one way that we are wise in our finances and in our resources is to obtain life insurance. So let's bring Bible in here again. Proverbs chapter 13, verse 22, the New Living Translation, and we're just going to deal with the first piece. Good people leave an inheritance to their grandchildren. Now, that's what the Bible says, that good people leave an inheritance to their grandchildren, your children's children. And one way we do that is by obtaining life insurance policy. Now, I'll give you my experience. I did not buy a life insurance policy until I was 27. Now, of course, before then, I was in my 20s. I wasn't thinking about a life insurance. I didn't even have children. But an agent came to me and asked me about life insurance, if I had it. But this was the sticking point that really stuck out to me. He said to me, it's cheaper now for you to buy it than when you get older. And I have no idea. Well, I do know because I like to watch my coins, but he said that it's cheaper now if you buy it than when you're older. And I said, okay, well, sign me up. I wasn't married. I didn't have children, but I did not want to die. I had enough sense then to where I didn't want to die, and my family did not have money to bury me appropriately, and they had to go borrow money from somebody or wait, 3 weeks until they got the money together and pay the bills that I left behind. I did not want my family to do that. So I purchased it. It was not expensive at all. And I've continued to have it and even have purchased more life insurance. So now that, I have a child, it's important for me to leave wealth, to leave an inheritance, and to leave generational wealth. It makes no sense whatsoever for me to work all these years. Who knows if I'm going to have something behind left from work, but to not leave an inheritance. And yeah, we do things like buy real estate, businesses, work at companies, Fortune 500 companies, or not even Fortune 500 companies, just work our working years. But we don't plan even further than that to have a life insurance policy. It is prudent and wise that if you have Netflix, YouTube TV, name them, whoever your cable subscriber is, a cell phone even, things that really depreciate, but you don't have a life insurance, I would say get one ASAP. The amount that you spend, and of course I'm not trying to watch your dollars, but the amount that you spend on going out to eat, on whatever it is, new cars, but you have not put a policy in place to be able to bless your family, to be able to bless others, even if you give it to a company, to be able to bless your children so that your children can bury you appropriately. Because there's no question about if you are going to die. It is when you die. When you die, are these things in place for your family to take care of you? Now, I love y'all. I do. That's the reason why I'm coming on here asking you to get a life insurance policy, to think about it. Now, I have some trusted resources. If you reach out to me, I can share those trusted resources with you to help you sign up and help you. They can answer questions for you and see what plan would be the best for you, or what, if you wanted to do term, if you want to do whole life. But really, y'all, life insurance gets more expensive the older you get. There are still options if you're older. There are options, trust me. It just gets more expensive. And so if you are around my age and you don't have life insurance, I don't care the amount necessarily, but you do need to have it. It's important for your family. It really is important. It's a tool that can be used to create generational wealth. And that's what we want to do. Create streams of generational wealth. There is really no reason why I saw all this death, but in the midst, and continue to see death, because I'm in hospice right now. And we have families that really don't know what to do. The patient doesn't have, or they didn't have life insurance, and no one even discussed it. Even if they did have life insurance, no one discussed it with the family, so they weren't even able to figure out like what steps to take. So even after you get life insurance, whoever your beneficiary is, please share that with them. Go a step further, create a will so that when you die, your funds are directed to where you want them to go. We must do a better job of planning, because this will happen. It will. It's a matter of when it will happen. And even for our children, I have a life insurance on my child. And that's not to say that I want my child to die right now, but I'm being prudent. First of all, it is extremely cheap when he is young. And then furthermore, I don't know what God is doing. I don't know what God will do. But in the same way that I am going to leave this earth, sadly, my son will leave this earth too. And so I want to make sure that I do everything in the natural as far as planning and making sure that I leave an inheritance for my children's children. And this is one way that I create a stream of generational wealth. So like I said, reach out to me if you want resources on how to obtain life insurance. Even if you just want to ask questions, reach out to me. I will give you those trusted resources. Y'all, I'm all about educating you. I love y'all. I will be back with another video soon. And make sure that, first and foremost, that you know God and that you're saved. Secondly, get that life insurance policy. No matter the amount, no matter what it is, even for you guys that are on here that are looking to buy for your parents, because I know some people, y'all might be my age, you might be younger, and you have ailing parents. Yes, you can still buy a policy for them if they don't have one. Of course, it's just a little bit more expensive, but you can. And of course, if you don't have the funds right now to where when your parent dies, if you don't have the funds right now, I would absolutely say, y'all excuse my phone, I would absolutely say to buy a policy. And it covers your parent. And if you have children, please get one for your children too. Y'all, I'm just telling y'all what I have seen and what has been troubling to me. I have seen people be saved right before they died. They were not in good standing with God. And before they died of COVID, they were saved. They accepted Jesus, and we talked about it, and they accepted Jesus right before dying of COVID. I had a experience in Texas, and I talk about it often because at that time I had been on a couple of assignments, COVID assignments. And so I got to Texas, and I had this patient. We literally laughed the entire day. We joked the entire day. He was going home the next day. And we FaceTimed his wife. His wife was preparing. We watched football games. And literally, he died unexpectedly at the end of my shift. And y'all, I cried and cried and cried. Now, granted, I had been on a couple assignments before that, and not to say I haven't cried with the other patients, because I did, but this time it really emotionally just took me out, because it really dawned on me, and none of us knew that this would be his last day on earth. Would be with me. It wouldn't be with his wife, even though we FaceTimed her. It wouldn't be with his children. It wouldn't even be with his friends, his co-workers. And we didn't even know it then. But his last day on earth was spent with us talking about football and laughing and joking. And it just really hit me hard about how really life is so fleeting and you just never know. So I share that because that was one of many experiences that I had, but I share that because, as a nurse, we see a lot of things, and people tell us things that they may not tell anybody else. And especially when patients were at the end of life and there was no one who could come in the hospital during that time and to be with them during those times. And so it was touching to me that, this was his last day on earth, and it was a pleasant day. Even though we didn't know it, the nurses didn't know it, but it was so pleasant, and it was a good experience. And so I want you guys to understand the importance and really the brevity of what I'm trying to convey to you, and the importance of making sure not only that you are prepared spiritually, but that you put the things in place that your family is prepared. You want your family to be prepared when you go to heaven, when you die. And so, guys, I love y'all. Thank you so very much for watching this video. I know it may have not been the lighthearted video that you were expecting, but it's important. And it would be unwise of me not to share, just what I've been seeing, my experiences, my heart with you, and really explain to you, what we see on this end and what we're kind of seeing, just in the industry and what's important. I love y'all. If you need a resource, reach out to me. It will be in the description below. And I will see you on the next video. Bye-bye.